and leaders of this community, we've seen the problem of drugs and people, homeless people in the streets and how they live, and we need to educate ourselves because we only see them like only the top of what the story that they're going through. Tonight, you're so lucky and so privileged that we're able to hear it from somebody who lived in the streets from his teenagers to his adulthood. And he's going to tell us more about that and how he survived and what they went through and how they met they have that love story as well. We're going to touch about that and all the struggles that they went through and the places that they were at and the hope that he was able to pull his life from that black hole, and now he's working. And they have a family now. They have 2 children, a boy and a girl. They're living in Grishol, renting a house. So he's working. Both of them are working. He in the car. He drives a car. Has got a car now. So there is hope. We just need to be educated and know what they're going through so that we would know how to help them. So fellow Rotarians, guests, and friends, I'm introduced to you our speaker tonight. This is Jesse Dufour and Joel. So, I'm gonna have to do this like an interview like that. I promise Jesse it's gonna be a conversation. So Jesse, tell us his story and how it started. At what age did you start to live in the streets and why it happened?
It was an unfortunate event.
Yeah,
I lived a good life when I was younger. I went to Canada's Wonderland. It was all good. My mom got sick with leukemia at 12 years old, and I lost my mom. We were in Winnipeg, and we got moved to Manitoba because my dad wanted to move on, and my mom was a big part of my life. So we moved to Manitoba, and my dad ended up getting really sick. So he also had 3 heart attacks, and he passed away. So
if you cannot hear, you can move closer, please. You can move here. So if you can hear, move here closer. I want you to.
And just if you are comfortable, just to
Yeah. And then you lost your parents.
Yeah, so my sister ended up they were going to put her in foster care. My uncle said, well, we'll take the kids in. And I didn't feel like that was the right thing to do. My uncle ended up taking my sister, and they were going to take me in.
They won't take you.
They were taking me in. So I was at my uncle's house, and I just got in a big argument with him. I didn't want to stay. I was stubborn. I was 13 years old. So I ran away. I just went out in the middle of the winter time. Well, before we went to Winnipeg. We were in Rivers. My father passed away. Rivers is 2.5 hours from Winnipeg. Yeah. So my father had passed away, and we were sitting in the house with my auntie that was staying with us, keeping us there until they figured out what we could do with the kids, me and my sister.
You and your sister.
Yeah. So we were sitting there, and we ended up going to my uncle's house through there. We get there, and my uncle wanted to keep us there and just have whole new plans. I didn't want to stay there. I ended up running away, and I just started walking outside of Winnipeg. It took me 3-4 hours to walk outside. 13 years old, got on the highway, and just started hitchhiking. I got all the way to just past the town, Rivers, where I was at. It was like 3 hours outside of Winnipeg.
Mm-hmm.
It was so cold in the wintertime that I regretted my decision as soon as I was out there.
Yeah,
I was
too far to go back.
Too far to go back. Freezing cold.
Yeah.
I sat on the side of the highway, my hood up like this, bawling my face off. 13 years old, I was freezing. Nowhere to go this way, I can't get to a gas station. Can't go back. I've walked too far outside of town.
Yeah.
It's cold. I'm not gonna make it. I was sitting there in the snow like this, crying. I woke up in somebody's truck, soaking wet, because I was completely covered in snow, and I thawed out in the guy's truck, hitchhiking through. So I finally get to just by the Saskatchewan border, going towards Calgary. Still not knowing where I'm going, still 13-year-old kid, still scared. still hitchhiking. I got picked up on the highway, threw my bag in the back of the guy's truck at the gas station where I was dropped off. The guy took off with all my stuff.
Through all your stuff?
Took all my stuff.
Took all your stuff.
My bag, everything that I had, took all my stuff. So now I'm in the Saskatchewan border, freezing cold. What do I do? Nothing.
Yeah.
No change. I don't remember any phone numbers, nothing. I'm scared. Go to the truck stop. Sitting in the truck stop, just crying by the bathroom. Crying. Trucker came up and asked me where I was going. 13-year-old kid, I'm kind of scared, don't know what to do. I say, I just want to go somewhere, I just want to go to Calgary. I just want to get out of here. I just want to go to Calgary. I don't want to go back there. The truck driver drove me to Calgary. So it was a long drive from the Saskatchewan border all the way to Calgary, sat in the back of his truck, learned so much. It was actually quite a cool experience. Just going through it all.
Yeah.
Getting to Calgary, now being homeless in Calgary at 13 years old. What do you do?
So you have nowhere else to go?
Nowhere.
So you're in the streets?
In the streets.
Yeah, so how did it all start?
So the streets, there's the mustard seed in Calgary is a place where you can go at any age. You can be there at 6 o'clock p.m. and you get to stay the night, or you have to be out by 6 o'clock the next day. We didn't end up getting any beds. I didn't get any beds in there. I got in a lot of fights when I was down there. Just young, and then it got really cold that you can't stay in Calgary, there's nowhere to go. I'm sitting out in the alleyways, sitting by the vents coming out of buildings just to stay warm. Nowhere to go. I learned how to break dance when I was younger and play hacky sack, which is kind of how I survived. I was in Calgary playing hacky sack and I used to break dance and just do like one-handed push-ups for change on the streets and make a little bit of money for food, for whatever I could.
Yeah.
That's where I met my girlfriend at the time, Stephanie.
Yeah.
She was staying at the YWCA.
Yeah.
She was staying there, yeah. So she was staying there. I could never get a bed anywhere. So she was also a runaway kid. She was just a little bit older than I was. She was 14.
Yeah.
And I can't live in Calgary. I can't stay here. It's too cold.
Yeah.
I can't eat. I can't stay anywhere. There's lots of homeless people here. There's nowhere to stay.
Yeah.
There's no programs at nighttime that can help you out. So in Calgary, when it's so cold, people are just left on the streets to just do drugs and break into shit. That's all there is to do. No programs are out there to help you.
So that time Stephanie was your girlfriend, you were together.
We were together.
You were trying to survive in
Trying
the
to
streets.
survive, and I said, "Yeah, where can I go that's warmer?"
Now where to go. So how did it all start? Like what did you do?
Just trying to get through every night, just absolutely freezing. So staying underneath the bridges in the wintertime.
Yeah.
Staying underneath the bridges to keep warm. So the one guy I was panhandling, and he asked me like, "Where do you want to go? Where do you want to go?" And it didn't really occur to me what to do. Where to do? Where do I go? What do I do? First, I had mentioned to go to Vancouver. So this is where it kind of got a little crazy. So I ended up hitchhiking from Calgary, walked out of Calgary, about 14 at that time, hitchhiking outside of Calgary.
Both of you?
No, I had
Just
left.
you?
I left Stephanie there because she had a place to stay. She was at the YWCA, so she had an obligation to stay there. I said, "I'm going to Vancouver.
You have
I can't
nowhere
stay
to
here.
go."
It's
Yeah.
so cold. I'm not making any money. Street kids are not. There's nothing. There's nothing. No programs."
Yeah.
So as hitchhiking through BC, there was so much programs in every little town as you were going, because it was like the hitchhiking path through like Calgary to BC. It was like the best. There was so many hitchhikers on the road,
Oh.
so many programs for people to go to, and
Okay, you have a place that you can
yeah,
eat
a place
and
where you can go.
okay.
Every little town had a mission where you can go into, and they give you a toothbrush, deodorant, and a pair of socks, and kind of go on your way. So hitchhiking through, I eventually get to Vancouver about a week and a half later. I don't know anything. Vancouver is a very scary city when you're young. Finally get on the train, I go downtown, and I'm 14 years old and I'm starving, but this city is beautiful. It's,
Yeah, yeah. Is there a program there too that gives you?
There is
good food?
absolutely lots of programs there.
Okay.
So I was going and I walked, and I get up to a street, Davie Street. I don't know if anybody knows Vancouver, but Davie and Granville Street I sat up.
I know where Granville Street is.
So I sat up at the Danny's Panhandling. So just warm out, put my hat out, I'm gonna get some change. I'm gonna find some food, it's okay.
You were dancing in the street that time? What were
I
you
stopped doing that. I stopped doing that. That was in Alberta.
Okay,
So here I go to BC, it's warm. I don't really have to. There's lots of stuff going on. It's a very alive city.
okay.
So at nighttime in Vancouver, they have, well, I'll tell you the part when I was sitting out front of Danny's first. This was a drugs started.
Okay.
I was sitting out front of Danny's panhandling. 2 o'clock in the morning comes around, and all these men start coming out of these bars. I was in the gay area of town, completely unaware of what was going on. Being 14 years old, you don't know what's going on. So you see all these guys coming out, like absolutely naked, walking by you at 14 years old, right downtown Vancouver, like absolutely,
Are they gay?
absolutely.
Okay.
That part of downtown where I just kind of went towards was the absolute gayest part of Vancouver.
And what time of the
2
night?
in the morning, yeah.
2 in the morning.
Very sexual.
You want to see that? You go to the
There's very sexual activity going on there.
Okay.
And all it took was one guy that kicked me and asked me, "You want to make some money?"
Yeah.
And right away I thought, "Oh no." And he threw a bag of crystal meth on me.
Oh, that's how it started.
That's how it started. Bring me
Okay.
back $30. I didn't even know what it was. I
Okay.
had no idea what it was. So he gave me a little bit of a rundown on it. He's like, just go
Teaching you
teach
what to
me.
do.
Yeah, you just come back here at 5 o'clock and you bring me the money. Well, not an hour and a half later, I had $50. It sold it like that.
It was quick money.
Quick money.
Yeah.
3 days later, I was picking up ounces. It was quick money. Boom, boom. 14 years old.
I'm telling you where it is.
Tell you, the gay scene was just money. All gay guys wanted was meth. I hit the money. Oh, I hit it. It was amazing. Not really amazing, but it was a time where
Well, you needed the money. And
I
those
needed
are
the
easy
money.
Yeah.
By the time I was 15 years old, we were moving maybe
Lots of drugs.
2 or 3 pounds of meth a week on the streets.
Yeah.
Still nowhere to live. So paranoid. Smoking so much meth, so paranoid.
You're taking it too and
Oh.
selling it too.
Taking it, smoking all my profits. Everything.
Over your profits, whatever you earn, you buy
Everything
it.
was gone.
Okay.
So sitting there always paranoid. Always paranoid. And then we got into, well, homeless people at nighttime. So there was a program where we called her mama, which was a lady that went around in a wheelchair. She's paralyzed.
Uh-huh.
Every morning at 2 o'clock in the morning, she would run down Hastings, Granville Street,
Yeah.
Davie, go down Burrard, up, and then back down to Hastings through Granville and hand out food to the homeless.
Really?
Everybody would protect her. She was there, reliably, faithful every single night. And all the homeless people would come for food and hot coffee and hot chocolate. And she was there the entire time I was out there. Saved everybody's lives that were hungry. She was always there. It was something that was, and that's the thing at nighttime in Vancouver, that there was programs where they were open at nighttime. There was a place called Dusk to Dawn that was open on, I forget what street it was, Burrard Street. Dusk to Dawn is what it's called. And there's a place where you can go and get high and just be safe. There was counselors that walked around. All the couches had like scabies and bugs, and I had body lice so bad that my clothes, I bet you I didn't change my socks in 3-4 months, and I didn't give a shit. I was so high that it didn't matter. I looked so cool.
Yeah?
Oh, I was so high with my backpack on. Whoa. Sleeping bag with $5,000 in my pocket,
Oh, dear.
nowhere to live. And I opened my shirt like this, and there were just thousands of bugs all in my body.
And you don't feel it because you're
you don't
always
feel
high,
I'm
right?
always so high.
Yeah.
So high all the time.
So now I want you to share to them, like, what do you feel when you get to be hooked on drugs, and why do you want to be always high, and then the feeling afterwards when it wears down?
So when you take crystal meth, you smoke crystal meth for the first time, it's the absolute best euphoric feeling you can ever experience in your life. It gives you the open-mindedness of you can accomplish anything.
You're like invincible.
Yeah.
Invincible.
You can take a frickin' radio and turn it into a cell phone just with your mind, and you're teching out with your little screwdrivers and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Hit the sidewalk in the streets, your mind is just so clear. think you look so cool, but then you sober up and you're like, what am I wearing? Like it's the feeling, you chase that feeling of being high, and you'll never experience that feeling again. So then you resort to needles. So when I got into the needles, that first shot that I gave in my foot of crystal meth was that same feeling that I had when I first smoked it. It was just, I felt it through every part of my veins, and it was just, oh, it was just that feeling. You know, when you just get the chills, and you just like wake up, and it's that all the time.
Okay.
That's the power and the feeling you get. Smoking cocaine or snorting cocaine is something different. It's
Is it
gone.
different
It's gone after
effects?
about 2 hours. You smoke $10 worth of crystal meth, you're fucking high for 14 hours.
Oh,
On
so
$10.
it's a longer effect on your body.
On $10.
But $10 and cocaine is more expensive.
Cocaine, we were going through an 8-ball in Manitoba, $400 every 2 days,
Oh my God, that's a lot of money.
and selling it to the whole freaking
So
town.
that's why people are
Yeah.
using the meth because it's cheaper.
Or you just turn your coke into crack. So you take your cocaine,
Yeah.
you put it in hot water, you add baking soda, and you stir it up. That's
Okay.
gonna bond into a piece of rock. That's your crack.
Oh.
So people bust that up.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Like people
That's
bust
a
that up,
different
and they
thing.
sell half coke, half crack. That's 5-piece nuggets, 10-piece nuggets. So you triple your money.
I see.
You
That's
take
how-
an 8-ball of cocaine, put it in a pot, and stir it up with some water and baking soda. I can turn that shit to $700 if I piece it up right.
Oh, I see. So that's how you.
So you piece it up.
Yeah.
Crystal meth, same thing. I'd go pick up 3-4 pounds of crystal meth
Yeah.
from my dealer. I'd wait outside the welfare office. Fucking people would come with me, $790, the whole check.
Yeah.
Take everything. They're broke for 2 weeks. They're broke for the whole month. I got the whole check. It's that addictive. It's
Yeah.
that good.
So you tell us the like how it feels when the drugs wears off, and that's why you clamor for more.
So meth really doesn't, it takes a long time for meth to wear off. So even if you don't have it for like 2 weeks, you start talking about it, you'll get high again. It stays in your system for a very long time. I get goosebumps on here just talking about it.
Yeah.
Not high, but it's just, it's that good.
Yeah, yeah.
So
It's-
then your heart's pumping, everything is just so clear. You can walk around all night. Like I was so high on Granville Street, McDonald's, you know the Granville McDonald's?
Yeah,
So in that alleyway right there, I was so high on crystal meth one day I stood in the alleyway and I was standing there. And I was staring at the other end of the alleyway. And I swear it was somebody else staring at me back. And I'm like, I'm not gonna let him win. I'm just staring at him, staring at him. Sun comes up, it's a freaking mop sticking out of the garbage can. I was staring at a freaking mop. 10 hours staring at a mop.
10 hours.
Sweating.
Oh my God.
Sweating, my face is sweating. And it stinks. It stinks.
Yeah, because
There's programs there to go in to have a shower and stuff.
yeah.
The shower is the last fucking thing I want when I'm high. And when I finally do, my socks come off like Velcro. They were stuck to my foot.
Ooh.
So gross. I put them back on. As soon as I smoke a bowl in the bathroom, those socks are clean in my head. Everything's just normal again. Heroin is a little bit different. First time I did heroin, same thing. Granville, the subway right across the street from McDonald's.
Mm-hmm.
I did heroin for the first time. I thought it was ketamine. I grabbed a light bulb, smashed the light bulb, wiped the powder off of it. I put heroin on the light bulb. I smoked the heroin through a straw. About 16 years old by now is when I started doing heroin. I started smoking that. Not out like this. I dropped everything. I sat on the toilet in Subway with the door locked for like 7 hours. My ass had a big bruise until the cops were banging on the door, getting me out. I sat there for 7 hours. It felt like 10 minutes.
And nobody like
No,
detained her.
there's drugs everywhere downtown Vancouver.
Okay.
That's how heroin was. I puked all over the place because that's the first thing you do when you smoke heroin is you puke. Anybody that does heroin, you puke.
When you're high, when you take it.
Very first time you do it, you puke.
Okay.
It's just something that they call it chasing dragon. You're sitting there like this. No matter how hard you try, you can't open your eyes because the heroin won't let
So
you.
it's a different effect.
It's a different effect. So
Okay.
that's why people take crystal meth and heroin to kind of give you that same
To
down,
mix it, that's why
feeling,
you have the
but you're still
cocktails?
able to focus.
Okay, so now can you tell us the effect when it wears out?
When you don't have
What
heroin,
do you feel?
even after the first time you do heroin, if you don't have it for the next day, it's like you have the flu times 10. It looks like you're on heroin, but they're just that sick. It's called being down sick.
And that's from the heroin?
That's from the
How
heroin.
about the cocaine? What is the?
When I finally met my wife when I was 25 years old, when I got out of Vancouver, I introduced her to cocaine in Manitoba. It's what we moved to Manitoba to kind of bring our kids up. We both had young kids, our son and daughter. They were about 5 and 8, I guess, at the time.
In Vancouver? You
No.
already have children there?
No, this is when I moved to Manitoba with her. This is after.
Okay.
So I came to Manitoba after all the Vancouver stuff.
Oh, you went back to Manitoba?
This is after the Vancouver.
Okay.
You were talking about the cocaine?
Yeah.
So I was telling you about the cocaine.
Okay, all right, got it.
So when I moved to Manitoba, I had met her at one of the butcher shops when I was 25 years old. After the Vancouver stuff.
You were working at the butcher shop at the time?
In Calgary.
In Calgary. But you were also using cocaine?
No, she wasn't using anything.
Oh, you were not. It wasn't Jesse in
I was still,
too?
yeah.
Cocaine?
So when I met her in Calgary after I got kicked out of Vancouver from all the drug and the crime that we did there, 31 convictions, I can't really go anywhere. And so when we got to Manitoba after all the partying in Vancouver, I grew up, I'd met her in Calgary. We moved to Manitoba for our kids to grow up not in the city but in a small town, Brandon, Manitoba. I don't know if anybody ever heard of it. Brandon? It's a beautiful town. It's a beautiful town. My kids are going good, both honor roll kids in school. I was a butcher there, making good money, but there's fucking nothing to do. So I resorted back to what I know,
Selling drugs.
selling drugs. What can I find right now? Cocaine. Within, I don't know, maybe 2 months, we had the whole town and my family, like my sister, wanting, because she had moved out, she's older now, she was around too. The whole town coming to our house. So my kids are 5 and 8 years old, and my son, throughout the weekends where we had big parties, 200-300 people over, and just cocaine everywhere.
Oh, so it's a cocaine party.
Every weekend. Every weekend.
Every weekend. But you're same time working as a butcher.
Yeah. That's when I got like maybe 4 hours of sleep a week, because we're selling coke all the time.
Yeah, and by the way, Jesse worked as a butcher because you said
They don't do criminal record checks.
they don't do criminal records, and that's the only job he could do.
They're past 3 jobs from Calgary, Manitoba to here.
Yeah, because he had 32
31 convictions, yeah.
Yeah, and
And I could have got a job at Superstore, Sobeys. I passed all the tests for butchers. Or what's on my record is they won't.
you won't hire him because of his criminal records. Can we bring it back a little bit, because you had 2 children before you met
So when
Charlie.
I was in Vancouver, I started selling crystal meth, just about 15, 16 years old. My girlfriend from Calgary had followed me up there after she was done with the YWCA. She had came out to BC to find me. So she was out there with me, and she was following me around like a dog as I was selling crystal meth on the streets. I had my 3 guys with me. I had a big native guy that I'd give an 8-ball a week to follow me around and just take care of any debts that I had. It was just, he would just go and just take care of anything. I'd give him drugs, he'd do whatever I want, anything I want. Stephanie would follow me around. The kids were conceived in like parking lots, outside, just wherever.
Wherever.
Just wherever. We were both dirty, we both had scabies, we were both fucking disgusting. And still just, doing whatever on the streets, and then she got pregnant. So, pregnant with Emily, which is my first daughter. She got put into like a home when me and Stephanie were still on the streets. And then she got pregnant again. I went to prison for a while because I got caught making crystal meth. I went in 2.5 years, got out, and both my kids. I had a visit with both my kids before I went to jail, sorry. And that's when we had signed the papers for them to be adopted together, because we were unable to take care of my children on the streets. and none of us were willing to become clean. It was just something we weren't able to do. We had no address, we had no place to live,
And even with those kids, you still have not thought of,
nothing. And they were both born under 7 pounds. They were both meth babies. Sapphire had a big flat spot on her head. Now she does makeup for Halloween artists in Japan, and she's big makeup, but she's doing really well. I've never met my children in Vancouver in person. I say goodnight to them and good morning to them on my phone every day. I try to do a Skype call with them, because how I found them and got contact with them was their mother had moved to Alberta after all the Vancouver stuff. She had found them through an obituary that their foster parents, somebody had died, and then their last name, the name that I'd given the children, had lined up and binged on my ex's computer. So we looked into it, and sure enough, it was my 2 daughters that I'd given up for adoption in Vancouver.
and what age are they?
Right now they're 20 and 21.
That time when you knew about?
This was just like not too long ago. This was
Okay.
like
It's
4
just
years
recent.
ago.
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't too long ago I got in contact with them.
Yeah.
So my wife had set up a Skype call for me to FaceTime my daughters for the first time after all this Vancouver stuff. And I have 2 children of my own now, and I want them to meet their brothers and sisters. Well, as soon as they were on the
On the screen.
I couldn't even look without crying my face off. I couldn't get one word out if my life depended on it. I couldn't. I just sat there and cried. I couldn't do anything. So we shut that off, and now we send snaps. Snaps, but we just take little pictures.
Snapshots.
Yeah, we just take pictures back and forth, and they still get me very emotional. But now, my 2 older daughters talk to my 2 kids I have with her, my son and my daughter, so they all talk. And my wife talks to my daughters on a daily basis also. So it's very good that
That is good.
we're all talking.
No, so were you in prison that time when you said that you almost lost your arms?
That was from gangrene.
Yeah, so his arms went gangrene because,
So,
yeah. tell us
bagging up
about
for
that.
crystal meth in Vancouver, all the parkades underneath the buildings were all open. There was always a place to go, always undergrounds. Downtown Vancouver is all full of sky rises. There's lots of places to go underneath. So what we did to make extra money was we jumped a mailman, we beat him up, and we took his keys. We took the mailman's keys, and I copied those keys with a Dremel. And you know those dog clips you clip your dog with? You just clip the dog, took those, and we copied those keys and make them just like the mail key. So that one key will get you in every single building in the city. Being the mailman.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
So that's a federal charge. You get caught stealing, it's different. You get caught with that key, it's a federal charge.
Okay.
So it's a mail key. You sit there and the same key would open up every building. You go in there like you live there. Open up, click, the door opens. Bang, go to the elevator, parkade. Go down to the parkade. Everybody's storage units are there. Everything. And they're all made out of wood. Back then, it was all just wood.
Okay.
Little pieces of, little stripping wood with a little padlock on it. But we'd sit there all night and just pop those locks off. And I'm talking, we take hope chests, and it's very bad karma. Like we did, we grabbed everything. I don't want to talk about some of the stuff we took, but it was just very, very bad karma.
Okay.
Just smashing stuff that we couldn't sell, whatever. So I started selling those mail keys to all the street kids.
Oh.
Street kids, go get me everything you can, and I'll buy it off you with that. So every morning, I'd go and walk downtown Vancouver, and on the street, there's always like a lean-to over top of the sidewalk. It's always raining. So there'd always be homeless people lined up with blankets and everything that they stole from the night before. All my profits would be from all the stuff that they stole. All this cool shit. Oh yeah, I'm taking this. Go to my dealers with all this merch and shit. And he doesn't want any of it. Story of my life. That's just the way it was. Every night I did the same fucking thing.
Now you tell us about your gangrene. How did
So
it
the
happen?
gangrene, I
Yeah,
went
how
and
did
picked up a
that-
lot of dope. I picked up so much dope, and I was awake for about 10 days. So high. So I went down to a parkade really deep, maybe 5-6 levels down. Found an abandoned car with a tarp over top of it. I sat in front of the tarp, feet underneath the car so nobody could see me in the morning
Mhm.
when they come and go to work or whatever. So I'm sitting there bagging up my dope while I've fallen asleep. A big bowl of crystal meth in my elbow. Well, I fell asleep like that and I woke up and it had eaten all the skin on my arm.
How strong
That's
it
how
is?
strong it was. It's very gritty. You hear it in the
like
bag, it goes.
corrosive. It's just a
It's very gritty and corrosive. When you smoke it for the first time, you get speed bumps. That's what they call speed bumps in your mouth. You get sores all over. It's from the chemical inside. Yeah, it's a chemical that's inside. There's 7 ingredients in crystal meth. And it tastes, yeah.
Or you can use to make meth. That's, what are the ingredients?
I'm not saying. But you can turn like $300 into $1,000 in 25 minutes if you have everything heated up.
Wow. So now you said you have almost never gone big, but
But
what saved your life?
I just neglected it.
I see.
I woke up and I was just like, whatever.
And you were
Smoke
high.
a bowl,
You
I'm
were
high.
yeah.
I'm high, it doesn't matter. I don't give a shit, whatever.
Yeah.
So then it got really bad. My arms started getting really black lines in there. Black lines. And the scab on my arm, I never really looked at my elbow when you're high. You always walk like this. You never look. My girlfriend at the time, Stephanie, had mentioned that maybe you should get your elbow checked. There was like a hockey puck on my elbow with a scab. It's so infected with bugs and all my body lice that I had.
Pus and all
Oh, it was so bad. And when they took it off, the smell.
Were you in pain?
No.
Oh, because you're always high. I
No
always
pain.
forget that. I always forget
No
that.
pain.
No pain.
No pain.
So, but it was so stinky.
Oh, it stunk so bad.
Yeah.
Oh. And yeah, if I would have left it maybe 48 hours, I probably would have lost my arm. I was so high, I didn't care. My girlfriend all the time, all she did was scratch tickets. Crossword tickets, you know the scratch tickets?
Yes, yeah.
So she'd follow me around, and the only thing to do to keep her quiet, I just buy her lottery tickets. Shut the fuck up. I'd buy her lottery tickets. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
drink Slurpees and just we want to make money. That's all I'm doing.
So she's
always following me, right? I buy her lottery tickets.
And
So she'd get so high in a parkade scratching lottery tickets, maybe 500 of them.
Oh.
And then she's so high again, she'll go over everyone again with a red marker. All the tickets, just to double check.
Okay.
Next day, smoke a bowl again, all with black marker again. So stoned that she's checking the tickets over
Oh, they're the
and
same
over. That's
ticket.
what she did. That was her thing when she got high. Gambling.
Yeah. So then, how did you ended up in jail? You said you ended up in jail because you were
Making crystal meth in the state.
caught making crystal meth, and you said that actually had
The best
State.
impact on my life.
yeah. They tell us
Because when I
about
got
the story.
arrested at 21 years old, I was 79 pounds.
You were not eating, right?
Not
Because you were
eating.
always
No teeth. 2 teeth in the front.
yeah.
That's it. All my teeth were off. I still got teeth, but that's the only ones I have left. It was.
And you said that had going to jail
Going to
saved
jail.
your life.
The first 4 months. Yeah, it's all hardcore.
Because you were in a withdrawal.
You're still withdrawal, but I'm still getting high talking about it. I'm still fuck this shit. After about 5-6 months, you hear everybody crying in there. The biggest guys, biggest addicts. I'm crying because my daughters didn't get my daughters. I was crying. I got out in 18 months in good behavior.
Yeah.
I got in a little bit of trouble again when I got out. The police dropped me off, drove me to the edge of Vancouver, said, get the fuck going, keep going. Well, that was on a conditional sentence. I was supposed to go to court on Monday. And that's where my warrant comes in.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I still have a warrant right now. It's only provincial. That's because of that.
Okay. Yeah.
So when they dropped me off and they told me just to go, I just hitchhiked out. It was beautiful. I got in enough shit in Vancouver. By the time we left, every parkade was fucking gated up. There was so many security companies there. There was just nothing left. I mean, they had the firework competition. I don't know if you know about that in Vancouver.
Mhm.
On the ships.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, we had them on the ships. We broke into apartment buildings. If you see on an apartment building, you'll see a little black box. It says FD on it. That's fire department. So we used to take those boxes and pop the box off, take all the keys to the entire building, every door in the building, because you have to have access. It's the fire department. we put plumber's putty back on it, stick it back on. The only time they're ever gonna know those keys are gone is if there's a fire.
Oh,
That's it.
They don't really
I
check
have all
it
the keys.
regularly?
No, I have all the keys and they're all numbered. So when the firework competition come on, we grab those hotel trolleys, those big trolleys in the apartments, and just go and see people leaving as they're going to watch the fireworks and marking down their
And
suites.
then you go.
And then we
use.
come back and we just take everything.
Wow.
Just rob it like that.
Okay.
Sell laptops, $20.
So
in
that
the
was
streets.
after you came out from the jail,
That was a little bit before.
or a little bit before. Because you
When I
said,
got out of the jail,
Yeah.
I got into the drugs again a little bit to try to sell.
okay,
But that's when they caught me. And when I got out of jail, I picked up a lot of drugs from the guy that my dealer was originally, because he wanted to get me back on the street and go sell some more drugs for me, make me some more money. Well, I got picked up by the cops right after I picked up the drugs. Not 10 steps from my dealer's house. The cops picked me up, took the drugs, put it on the ground, poured water on it as it went down the drain, drove me and get the fuck out. Just get out.
okay. So now, you were not brought back to the jail anymore that time?
No, they took me right to the edge of the city, right past Surrey.
Yeah,
We just kept going.
and then you just left
And
there.
I just hitchhiked.
Now, let's jump now to the story where you met Joel.
So when I went to Calgary, I got in a little bit of trouble. I stole a car in Calgary. It's just really easy. It's just a lot easier back then to steal cars. I walked around with a dent puller, screwed in the ignition, popped it out, just started just like that.
Yeah.
30 seconds, easy.
All of this you have learned from the streets, like it? all of
Easy,
this
it's just
stuff?
something we have to do. Breaking into anywhere, you can get in anywhere with vice grips, flathead. I can pick a lock in 30 seconds.
Mhm.
Those are all just things you don't forget.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, it's just stuff you don't forget.
Mhm.
So I moved to Calgary, got in the shit. I had to do house arrest for 6 months.
Mhm.
So house arrest, they come at any time of the day. They call your phone, come out, you hold your card up. My number is 71446. They shine a light in your face, make sure you're there. Okay, that's it. You go back downstairs, they can come back 10 seconds later. Because you might think that they're not gonna come back for a while. Oh, I can go do whatever I want. I'm on house arrest. They're not gonna come back, they were just here. Bullshit, they'll come right back. They're always checking. You can't go anywhere but church and grocery shopping. And you need to tell them the time when you go, and they will check sometimes. And if you're not there, that's it. So then I started working at a butcher shop.
Oh, that's when you
This is
started
when I
working.
met her. She was a little chicken cutter. Most beautiful woman I ever seen in my life.
No. Now we're in the love story portion.
But my face, I'm still very skinny. My face, I got no teeth.
Yeah. Tell us about the date, okay?
So I don't smile ever when I had no teeth.
Yeah.
I always cover my face. I had a mole here, mole here. I was very insecure about my body. I never, ever smiled. Ever. Very first time I see her, oh shit. I'm gonna show off kind of thing, and I run around the corner in the shop, and I jump like a chair like this. Oh, I fell right on my fucking face. Oh, I was so embarrassed.
You fell.
Crashed right on my face. So after working with her for a little bit, we kind of fell in love, and I knew right away, as soon as I seen her, I'm gonna marry this woman.
Mhm.
Somehow she's gonna fall in love with me. Somehow. I don't know how it happened, but she did.
Mhm.
We're here. We had a nice place in Calgary. Everything was going good. Everything is great. Then we have 2 young kids. I had gotten a physical altercation with my butcher, my boss. It was
Mhm.
something so stupid. I lost my cool, flipped the table, lost my $27 an hour job. Over 10 minutes of freaking out. Best job I ever had in my life. First time I ever had a business card. First time I ever had a job. First time I ever had a bachelor pad. It was just awesome. That time when I got my first paycheck and locked my door, I cried for, I bet you, 4 hours. It's the first
Finally,
time
you have a
I ever got to
house.
lock a door.
Yeah.
That was just, oh, it was awesome.
Mhm.
Nothing in my house, nothing.
So you tell us about your date the
So,
first time.
Working
Hey,
at
Joel.
this butcher shop, we had access to a lot of the 4 or 5-star restaurants.
Mhm.
So Mercado in Calgary is a big restaurant, it's a big Italian restaurant. And I was working as a butcher. They didn't put me out on the street because of my face. I had sunken teeth, but I had a really good work ethic. It was just awesome. So I was able to take her on all these dates to these 4 or 5-star restaurants where we didn't have to wait in line because we were the meat man, right?
Yeah, yeah.
We were the supplier of all these
Yeah,
restaurants.
so they know you.
Calgary Flames, downtown Calgary.
Yeah.
we went there, got VIP treatment, everywhere we went. But I still only had one freaking tooth in my mouth.
Yeah.
Still looked like a...
Joel said two.
Well, I had two at the time. But I still looked like a freaking crackhead. I still looked skinny. Still wasn't putting on any weight. Still malnourished. Like, it was horrible. So then the kids, I ended up losing that job. The sheriffs were going to come to our door and seize all of our stuff. I'm like,
We were so far behind.
we were so far behind, we didn't know what to do. We got two babies. What are we going to do? Well, we ended up leaving at like 2 in the morning with a pickup truck with $1,000, box of diapers, and a pack of wipes. And we drove all the way to Manitoba. Her mom drove us all the way to Manitoba. All the way there. Went and stayed at a friend's house for a little bit with the kids. I went downtown, got a job as soon as I could. Still staying at the friends. First paycheck, went and rented our place. Now what are we gonna do? We have a place, we don't have any furniture, we have this big house, $790, 5-bedroom house. It was awesome.
In Manitoba.
Big old yard, everything. Then the Coke started coming around. We started having a little bit of friends, and somebody brought some Coke over, and
That's when you started a coke.
I was like, well, what the fuck is this? I did a line for the first time. I was like, this is freaking awesome. And I'm like, well, I know how to sell drugs. Where's your dealer? So he's, I'm not telling you my fucking dealer. I went and found him myself. I took over all his shit, and I started selling Coke. In a couple of months, my kids were getting like $200-300 allowances a week because I just wanted to keep them away because we were just so high all the time. And they were going to their friends, and we would just pay for everything. And you know, suddenly my son was like 9 years old, my daughter was 7, and some of the weekends we'd have 200-300 people over, and there'd still be a big bowl of magic mushrooms outside. The camper that we had Coke all over the table, and my son came in one day and was like, Dad, I counted 84 beer cans outside. And right then it was like, oh fuck. Like, what the fuck are we doing? So at this point we're picking up, you know, good chunks of cocaine and, you know, moving them pretty good, and life's pretty good. But I'm only getting 4 hours sleep every week. Waking up like half an hour before work and going to work. Blowing my nose so much.
So both are going to work yet. And so
Yeah.
what were you doing this
She was
time?
really at home.
Yeah, I was a stay-at-home
She, was,
mom.
she didn't really have
I
to
was
do
a
anything.
lunch lady for the school.
Long stay for the
But
store.
still, we're doing
So
Coke.
when you're being a mother with 2 children and then you're having this cooking party, you
We
were okay
couldn't
with
stop.
it?
No, we couldn't stop.
So,
We're so
And you're
into
always
it.
high
and
too.
yeah.
always high.
Yeah.
And everywhere we went, oh, Jesse.
Go to the bathroom.
Just go to the bathroom all the time, so I always give it away. Man, I always made good money. Always, always, always. And then my son came that one day,
Like,
Dad, there's like 80-some beer cans out there. And right then, I was like my son's gonna be 10 years old. He definitely seen the Coke on the can. Like, he definitely seen it. There's no way you can fucking see it. It's right there. He doesn't know what it is, but he could have licked that, or he could have whatever.
Yeah.
So at that time, we were like, well, I was like, fuck this. I said, I'm done. She's like, well, you're not ready.
Oh.
She's not ready.
You were still hooked on that.
She's still hooked on it. So this is 6 months before we moved to Ontario. I had told my boss the next day, I said, you know what? I'm fucking quitting. I said, I'm done. 6 months, I'm moving to Ontario because I don't know anybody. Fuck this shit. I quit. Told my dealer, I said, I'm fucking done. My wife's not done yet, but I'm done soon. So we sat there and worked 2 more months she was doing it. Just kept giving it to her, and I'm taking care of the kids. I'm getting kind of pissed off that it's not stopping. So about 2 months later, she's finally done. So we're done.
You're already here in
We're done.
Ontario.
So as soon as we're done with the cocaine, I didn't have one fucking friend come back.
nobody-
Not on the weekend, not one person. Not one person. So by the time the 6 months was up, everybody's calling my bluff. Oh, you're not gonna throw your shit away. Oh, there's no way, no way. The day that we left, 2 people seen us off. 2 people that have never been to our parties. Nothing. The most soberest people that we know, and there's my son's friend's parents that came and helped us pack and move away. We packed everything up. We left halfway between Manitoba and Ontario here, just past, what's that first town coming out of the border? Kenora or Kelowna? Kenora? Well, that lake right there, I had my cell phone. I bet you 3,000 contacts in there. Nothing but money in this phone. I threw that thing so far in the water. What a feeling.
Now you were relieved.
It was
that-
relief.
Yeah,
So we
it was
finally get to
something.
Ontario here. we come here to be closer to her father. Her father disowned her when she was younger.
Yeah.
Her mother is in Alberta, so good with her mother. We came up here for her to be closer to her father and for him to meet his grandkids, the 2 kids we have now. We come all the way up here. Little Caesar's Pizza, everything was going good. Relationship's going good. Kind of weird a little bit because I don't really like the guy. Well, in Little Caesar's, I was with her with my daughter. We're getting food. Well, her father comes in. Usually he would say hi and everything else. He looked at my daughter and didn't say a word. He just walked right by her. And they made her cry. My daughter came out crying. I was like, that motherfucker. So I went, I got in the car. I parked in front of his place, right on Charles Street in Ingersoll. Stopped to grab the car. I said, you fucking deadbeat motherfucker. Just get the fuck outside. Every morning I drive by. What the fuck up, you motherfucker? Every morning.
Every morning.
3 weeks later, he moved to Nova Scotia.
Nova Scotia?
He took off to New Brunswick. He just left, scared for his life, and just took off.
But when you moved here, did you start to work already as a butcher?
When I moved here, I got a job at Canning. Working for Robinson. Working for Robinson Cleaning.
Oh, for a clean job.
Shitty job. Fucking shitty job. Work at nighttime and cleaning whatever it is.
Yeah.
15 bathrooms and not one employee working throughout the night. We had to clean the bathrooms 3 times a
Yeah,
night.
even if it's clean.
Not even one
it's-
person working. It was absolutely ridiculous. So then I called and I was like, I need to find another job. Called Medium's right away. And I got the Medium's job, and then the last little bit is my dealer from Manitoba had found out where we lived here in Ingersoll and had sent me a kilo of cocaine not too long ago. We kept it in our closet when we were living on Thames on 2271 Thames. The money was getting a little bit tough. I was having a tough time at the market. We had that kilo of coke in our closet for 3 or 4 months, and we just sent it back like 8 months ago. Done. We haven't touched it. We don't want anything to do with
That's
it.
good for you, Jesse.
The
for
phone
doing
is
that.
gone, but all that business
It's past.
is gone.
Yeah, so I just want to share to you one story. When Crystal and Jesse were on a date.
Oh, Joel.
Joel.
Oh, Joel.
That's just
Joel
a
was
lot.
up. No, there's no Crystal. It's just me. So he was eating a popsicle.
So yeah, it was like those strawberry fruit popsicles.
Yeah, he hasn't got only one too.
I had 2.
Okay,
By the end of that thing, and my tooth was stuck in
true.
it.
He's stuck on the popsicle.
Broke right into it.
But still, Joel loves.
Yeah.
Yeah, she got with me when I had no teeth. I was 85 pounds. She stuck with me the whole time, and
Yeah.
we've been together 18 years now.
That's good. Now, we're gonna have a question, or are we good? Do you have any questions? Maybe
Well, the
2 or
question
3?
was, what can we do?
Yeah, what
to
can we
help
do to
people
help
like this?
people like
Night
you?
programs help.
For night?
Night programs.
Night
Somewhere
programs?
for people to go at nighttime is a huge thing.
Okay.
At nighttime, all people have to do is crime and drugs. What else is there to do? There's nowhere to go.
Now, so for people who are into drugs, how do we help them to, stay away from it or give it up? Or what program?
You can't expect them to come to you.
No.
You
No.
gotta go
They'll
to
never
them.
come to you.
So
They're
we-
not gonna come to you for help. They're always too high. What the fuck do you wanna go there for? They're embarrassed.
So
Nobody wants to
how, like for us, the Rotarians here, we have a program, like transitional home, and we wanted to help these people. We don't know how to approach these people. We don't know how to really help them. To help them.
You can't be scared of them. They're not people to be scared of. They're people that
They're
need
just
help.
like you and me.
They're
So we just have
addicts.
to talk to them.
You just have to talk. I'm sure you're gonna get that one bad apple that's really angry and that. You're gonna get those other 10 people that actually want help. That are not willing to go out and get it because they're ashamed of it.
Yeah.
Especially Christmas time and everything else. Nobody wants to go for help.
Nobody.
It's a
So
fucking
the
embarrassment.
help that we're giving them, like we have a community table. Every Saturday we feed these people. That's helping them. And also during December, Christmas time, we have a dinner for them. And we also give them some stuff like mittens and all. That is a big help for them.
Contact information, places where they go for jobs. There's a thing that they had in Vancouver where homeless people could go at this one spot where people like that own businesses can hire people for the day and just take them for the day. and drop them off at the end of the day, you just give them $60 for the day kind of.
So what can we do to improve their lives and really, have a hope like we did? What happened? Is it like, can we help them, or is it really their decision that they want to?
You can, no, you just gotta approach them, you gotta go talk to them.
So
You're not gonna
we
know
need
unless
to-
you talk to them.
Yeah, we need to have.
I have a question for you. How would you feel safe to talk to someone in that case?
That's a very, it's hard to answer that.
Okay, what's signs for me that I am not safe?
Because I know when I was on the streets and all the people that I've talked to,
Yeah,
they're all people that, most of them were just runaways, and most of them just had just lost their job, and they're just kind of stuck in that rut. It's very rare that any of them have chose to be there. None of them have chose to be
Absolutely
there.
right.
And they're all willing to take help. If I didn't have kids, I'd be bringing in people every time I can. But you gotta talk to them. You look at the younger people where there's still hope. A lot of the older people that look really rough, maybe they choose to be there because it's an easier life for them. It's just, they haven't figured out.
can you educate me how can I break that cycle? How can I approach them first? Like, what's the first thing I should do? Like,
See what we did in Brandon, when we seen a homeless couple, we went and offered to take them out for something to eat, and then really got to know them on that level, away from the streets and away from wherever. Take them to a place where it's public, offer them some food, find some insight on their personal life where they're not feeling so defensive when they're on the streets. A lot of people are very,
Take the wall down.
yeah, a lot of people will open up if you
Take the
just,
wall
Yeah.
down.
but everybody has a wall up. All the homeless people have a wall up. You go up and say anything, they're gonna say, fuck you, you're very aggressive. Because that's what they deal with all night. Cops swearing at them, this and that. You take one aside and actually show some interest in helping them, you'd be surprised. Sympathy, and you'd be surprised.
Yeah. So
They just need a little bit of attention, a little bit of,
yes, Peter.
So Joel, you have a job now?
yeah, I work at Medium as an emperor,
Okay,
That's a good
and
check.
how long have you been there now?
2.5 years. And I worked at Woodstock Market every Saturday.
Excellent.
Yeah, he owns a car now.
Great.
They're renting in a good house in Universal.
Both kids are in school, good.
Both his kids are in school,
My older daughters from Vancouver both done college and university, and
and he's keeping in touch every day. And so so there is hope for them. We just have to.
you just have to get it tough, it's just getting a break. Me, I went to jail. That's what saved my life. That was enough time for me to sober up and to realize that my kids were gone. And there's nothing to go
Just
back
have
to. 'Cause
to.
once you get in that drug circle, you gotta sober up to get out of it. If you're surrounded by the drugs, you're not getting out of it.
So
You need to be taken away from there and just talk to people. You just gotta, they're not scary. They're people that need help, that's all.
need help.
Sometimes they just need a hug.
They need a hug. See, you heard it from
Journey,
Joel.
they need an
Some need a
address.
hug, some need an
Or
attention.
some of them don't have IDs, because a lot of people steal their IDs.
Yeah.
You help somebody get their ID, you can do wonders. You can't do nothing without your ID. Nothing.
So
A
that's
lot
a
of people get their wallets stolen. A lot of people sell their IDs.
Yeah, yeah.
So I want to thank, I'm asked to thank you guys for coming out. It's to hear stories of Jesse and Joel, it's eye-opening for a lot of us. Most of us haven't gone through these things, and it is heartwarming actually how you went through it, how you got out of it. And there is hope for everyone. There is hope for everyone, and we all need to work on that. I really want to thank you from our club and the people here for sharing your story, because it is very important that that story gets shared and that we get a little bit of insight of how it works and how we can possibly help.
And I apologize for the swearing. It's the only way I can properly express myself.
Yeah, so, yeah, okay. So if you speak again, it's better to try to suppress that a little bit if you can.
Old habits, sorry.
But but we really appreciate you that you took the courage to speak out about your mistakes, and not many people want to own up to their mistakes, and we really appreciate it, and hopefully we learn with it that we can help other people on the street. So Let's give them a big thank you.